All right, looks like we do have a racer setting up here. They're going to be comparing hashes in just a moment. And now we do have some cheering in the chat. Definitely get those cheers in both here and on their channels. If you do appreciate everything that they're doing, all the races and things like that, these guys are very good about putting on different streams that are very enjoyable. If you're not already following them, Makover's just put in the runners and our Twitch addresses as well. If you haven't already followed the runners, definitely do. Makover also puts in some incredible work. These guys are really good. If you like all things SMB3, randomizer races, SMB3, speed runs, no matter what it is, definitely give those guys a follow. They have done a great job in this tournament so far. With this being the grand finals, you can only tell how much they have worked on this. And you know, I gotta tip my hat to the both of them for sure. And Makobra52, he's no stranger to the tournament scene as well. And you know, they do a really good job. So definitely give them some love.
Absolutely. So we're about to get going with game 2 here in a second. Game 2 in this series, but overall game 5, I would say. So yeah, Proach needs one more, and he will take this tournament. Meanwhile, TEEX has some catching up to do. Hopefully we see some more games out of this. TEEX will definitely have to make better routing decisions there to catch back up here. So we shall see.
Absolutely. And we know exactly what kind of player TEEX88 is. He is a hardcore, guns firing, let's get in, let's go, let's go on in all of these different races. I mean, he's no stranger to 100% runs. He's no stranger to any percent. He's no stranger to the randomizer racing. I mean, he was our tournament champion earlier this year. He ended up taking Haxer down, and it was an incredible tournament. It was extremely well done. You know, TEEX88, such an incredible runner. And I hope to see more of that today. You know, if there's any player that can go up against proa007 and squeeze out a win, maybe 2, it's going to be TEEX. And I really hope to see, you know, I hope to see more races. I'm here all night. I'm good. Let's go.
For sure. Go and get your guesses in chat for what we'll see first here. Should be getting started any minute, any second now. I see a call for World 7. That sounds good to me.
I think I'm going to go with Lord Jabu Jabu. If you have a name like that, you can't possibly go wrong. Let's go 6.
We can get World 4, Giant Land. So whoever said World 4, congratulations. And look at this, 4F1 and World 4. Who would have thought?
Silly randomizer, that doesn't belong there.
Yeah, so we have Proa doing the shortcut area. You do get a power up out of it, but look at this. TEEX has a star, so that's a disadvantage for taking the shortcut there. TEEX will be able to get that orb right away, while Proa has to stomp 3 times in order to get it. So right away, TEEX having that edge that he needs.
Absolutely, and if we see more plays like that, it's definitely going to be in TEEX's favor. You know, that we have just a little bit of difference between randomizer runner versus speed runner in this regard. Not that Pro A is not fast. I'm not saying that at all. We know he is. He's got blistering pace. That's why he's the only undefeated in this grand finals. TEEX did lose to him earlier in this tournament, and that just shows how competition goes in this. I mean, these guys are so good. And at some point, you just know they're going to know the strategy. They're going to know the route, and these guys definitely do. So, I mean, TEEX is going to have to really play to his strengths. Pro is going to have to play to his strengths. This is anybody's guess as to what happens next.
Yeah, so both of them playing some Hammer Brothers stage early on, getting some hammers out of the deal too. Looks like there's at least 2 hammers out of the free. So that's very nice.
Absolutely, and that's going to really become interesting for sure if this is the only place his hammers come out, or if they get a surplus. And at that point, you know, you're looking at 2 already in your inventory, thinking, hey, you know, let's go ahead and use these once we have them. That way you can go ahead and get to a little bit more of an advantage, more and more and more. And, you know, you never know when that's going to come in handy. Maybe you get even more hammers, and that allows you to go even further.
Yeah, so I think that third bro on TEEX's screen there had that second hammer that Pro picked up. So Pro's gonna end up with an extra hammer out of the deal, I believe. Yeah, still a relatively close race here. Both runners right now in the World 7 ownership here.
I'd like to take a second real quick to thank Mitch Flower Power for rating with a party of 317. We are in the grand finals of our Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer. This is a best of 7. With it having been a double elimination tournament, they actually decided to go ahead and take Proa's and TEEX's stats from the previous matchup and go ahead and add that here. And Proa did win that 2-1, so we went ahead and added that in. It is a best of 7 with that. So it's kind of a best of 5, and Proa won the first one, and then he just won the first race tonight. So that's why he's currently up 3-1. And TEEX currently playing very well so far, out of World 1, which was World 4 first, and now onto the second one.
Yeah, so TEEX will lead now, but Proa does have that extra hammer in his back pocket, so we'll see if that comes in handy. And look here, World 1 and in the World 2 spot. And it looks like a bridge is required. It may not necessarily be this fort right in front of the bridge. We shall see here momentarily.
Absolutely. And if it's World 1 Fortress, it will still be required just because of the route alone. But, you know, it's anybody's guess at this point. The other fortress could be World 1 Fortress. And because there are 2 ways to beat World 1's Fortress, one, of course, would produce the Warp Whistle in the vanilla game. We've turned those off. We're not doing that. But, you know, that could be a factor. It cannot be route required except to play it only, which we now see here. So TEEX may go for that item. I don't know that he really has a clear advantage by breaking that lock.
Yeah, I think the way is open. Yeah, it looks like TEEX gonna defeat Boom Boom to be safe here. I don't think it's required though necessarily. Yeah, that lock's out of the way. It's just a matter of beating one level in a fortress over on the northern half there.
And this is where Proa needs to really put a good fourth down. He is going to go after that item. I think it's a really good decision here. TEEX88 probably second guessing himself, and unfortunately that's, you know, going to cost him just a little bit, and he will have to go back and play the level. So we don't have that item once again on the side of TEEX's screen. Hopefully that doesn't hurt him.
And it had to be a fire flower, so that's actually pretty good to take to Bowser's room. So props to Proa for grabbing that, realizing the map layout and going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You always want to have just an extra backup item in case, you know, if he finds a Hammer Brothers suit. I know that's definitely preferable, so that Fire Flower thing can come into the game a lot earlier. You know, you end up taking a 100 coin fine, go right back into the next level with a Fire Flower. Always a great plan.
Yeah, it's TEEX showing out those P-Speed strats in 5F2 here. Very nice work. Now Proa is right on his tail though, so still keeping up with him. So yeah, it's just a matter of beating that fortress to open up that bridge, and just one more hammer in the way here.
You know, this is one of those things we're really going to have to watch for. Obviously the item discrepancy is going to come into play, but if TEEX can get far enough ahead that those items just don't matter because he's so far behind, and those items can only do so much. Yeah, we've got the clouds coming out. Yeah, we've got hammers and things like that. But well-timed hammers and well-placed hammers, there is going to be a best place to play that. And obviously we don't know what it is going through it. But if TEEX can kind of take a random gamble and make something like that work, it's going to play out, I think, in his favor. Unfortunately, though, he's got to keep a good pace, and so far we haven't seen that.
Yeah, so Proa having that tail, making use of the P-Speed strat to fly above this airship, the World 6 one, and yeah, just like that, he's been seconds of TEEX right now, doing very well. That last hammer bro had a cloud, so they're both gonna have that. Proa still has that hammer edge though, so we shall see if it comes in handy. Go and get your guests in for World 3, chat.
I think at this point, one of the things that TEEX needs to hope for, at least needs to be hoped for him, is that he's able to get a extra item, which, I mean, here you see four levels right off the bat. Definitely going to have to play the first one, which happens to be 1/6. We'll see if a hammer play comes out here. Double hammer play could save a lot of time.
Yeah, does Proa have 2 hammers at this point?
I don't believe he's played either of his hammers yet, so that could very well be a good factor here for him.
Okay, so he didn't even check, so I'm not. He must be thinking he has one hammer at this point. Yeah, he's following TEEX now in the Navy stage here. TEEX once again showing off speed strats, doing it very nicely.
Proa just going to be a little bit slower on principle because he does still have that tail. With the way that P-Speed works, as soon as he jumps the first time when he reaches P-Speed, he has like 250 frames and then he's out of it. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be the end of it. TEEX just a little bit quicker, but with that item discrepancy, I still think it's in favor of Proa at this point.
Yeah, so chat speculating that Pro may want the fort gun first before he double hammers, but I'm thinking at this point it's you would have to spend 2 hammers in order to skip 2 levels, so probably not worth it potentially at this point.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. With the crispness of play that we have seen from Proa so far, I'd find it really hard to believe he doesn't know that he has his items so far, especially those key items such as the hammers, the clouds, the hammer suits. You know, he knows exactly what he needs. 2 tries there from TEEX. That's exactly what he's looking for. We'll see what Proa does here.
And look at here, we got our first clipping level, 7-1. And Proa is struggling to get that clip right now. He is Big Mario. He's in the ideal power-up status. There he goes. Finally gets it. Good job.
Looked about 6 tries to TEEX's 2, so definitely something that TEEX would want to see on that side. You know, TEEX is no stranger to these clips. He does such a great job with those. And looks like that last pipe that's going to be down past where 3-9 normally resides is going to be the ticket to Wendy's Castle. So, you know, TEEX just looking to get through there as quickly as he can from 6F3.
Yeah, he must have clouded that 7-1 there. I didn't see him play it, so I imagine he must have clouded it just to get to that pipe.
Actually, TEEX was out in 2. He was very quick with that clip. He was in and out within just seconds.
Ah, very nice. So yeah, it looks like this fort is required 6F3, so it will build our bridge onto the that final pipe there, and actually in the vanilla spot where it normally is. So that's good.
Absolutely, and definitely what is going to play to his strengths at this point. If he can get more linear worlds, things where it's not going to be as practical to use some of those extra items, and the ability to use those hammers and clouds, things like that, is just not going to be a factor, then, you know, that's going to really play in TEEX's favor, and that's how I think we get into this next match between these 2 runners.
Yeah, so there's that final screen there. Bro's actually going to go back and play Hammer Bros stage. So he's looking for more items to get the advantage, but unfortunately he gets a star out of it, so not too great.
No, not in the scheme of things. I mean, TEEX with a very nice fire kill there on Wendy, and we're going to be moving to World 4. Chat, you know what time it is. Get your guesses in for the next world. And now about an airship ahead because of that. The star, not really a great item to have. Definitely not worth going out of your way to get if you knew what it was.
Yeah, so it looks like Pro did use his cloud right there to get straight to the airship. So yeah, he's close on TEEX here. Still has an extra hammer. But TEEX has that cloud now that Pro does not.
Oh, very interesting. The letter from the princess this time offers a very valuable item. We now have the Hammer Brothers suits entering the game. That means that is the quickest way to take down Bowser and Boom Boom, but not the Koopa Kids for some reason. Never did figure that one out. But a Hammer Brothers suit now going to be on both sides for these runners.
Yeah, so it sort of invalidates that Fire Flower from the World 1 Fortress. So it can still come in handy, but yeah, you definitely want to use a hammer suit for Bowser for sure.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's really just going to come down to a defensive play, and it looks like TEEX has second-guessed as to whether or not he actually has a tail, so he's going to go for that hidden Tanuki that he will find in just a moment as that P-switch does fall out, and now Proa in the Angry Sun level.
Yeah, but we have 7F1 here. I'm sure Proa has a tail. If he tries and guesses right here, he can save a whole bunch of time on TEEX here.
Absolutely. And with the way that this world map does work, it is looking like, oh, a
Oh,
P.
look at this. He's doing it. But there you go. That considerably closes the gap between the two now.
Absolutely. Anytime Teeks gets just a little bit of a lead because of a good guess or because of just blowing through it, Pro A is right back in it. He is not letting up for anything. Now I think we're going to see a couple of pipes and looking like at least 2 fortresses, could be 3. Teeks deciding to go ahead and not take the death, wants to keep that Tanuki suit. Pro A right behind him. Okay, so 7F2 not going to be a factor if that is the other fortress. The other fortress not going to be a factor. And just 3 levels. And wouldn't you know it, the Hammer Brother that Pro A plays on the bottom is in fact a hammer. That is going to be big, I think. What? 4 hammers?
And a second hammer suit. Or hammer. Wow. That is something. That's a whole lot of hammers there. Pro is really knocking it out here.
Absolutely, but he's also got to have places to play those. I mean, he hasn't really had a whole lot of places at this point to even play those. And Teeks is going to go ahead and cloud over 7-5 and find the first hand level stage, I think, of the match so far.
Wow, what a cloud usage right there. Skipping 7-5 here while Pro is going through it slowly but surely. Man, that's one of the best levels you want to cloud, and just use it right away. That was super risky, but super well worth.
Yeah, absolutely. He took that early exit out of it, and now he's found himself in 7-8. Thankfully, with that hand level in between, if he does have an incidental death here, he will still be able to get through and not have to play 7-5 again. So a great decision and a great support to make sure that he doesn't have to go through it again. So Teeks playing a little aggressively and I think a little bit defensively here. Hopefully it's in his favor.
Absolutely. Pro clearing 7-5, having no trouble there, but yeah, it's just a long level, and it's a big time sink. So at this point, yeah, T's got his 2-stage lead, and yeah, what Pro has going for him though is all those hammers that he's acquired. So if those come in handy, we can definitely see some lead changes here potentially.
Absolutely. And considering we have 6 and 7 still to play, I mean, there's a lot left that could possibly happen. And unfortunately for Teeks, that just really is going to lend itself to a hammer play. You know, if 7 has a couple of locks, you know, he could easily get through those. If World 6 has a free pipe to Lemmy except for a lock, that's going to play in Pro A's favor. If Hammer comes into play at World 8, Pro A's going to have them. I mean, there's just a lot risky here about not having those hammers that Pro A does. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be a big problem. And definitely also to Leslie Pro's point, having a tail in 7-5 is one of the quickest ways to get through it. We saw him break that block with the tail. You can clip through there, but that's definitely a very tricky place to be. And just like we talked about, World 6 is definitely free with a hammer. That can't feel good, though.
Yeah, just like that, just one hammer break that lock, and they're home free. You know, there could have been a bridge there out that they would have to build, but fortunately in this case, you know, just one lock and that's it. They're out of there.
Teeks with a nice fire kill on Lemmy's not even going to have to worry about it. We do have a world difference, but we know that that's not a very long world. So now going into World 6, Teeks has already blown his hammer. We'll see if the 4 come back out to play.
Yep, so as far as what worlds are left, so yeah, we have 7, and then was it 2? Yeah, Teeks finds a fort right off the bat here in his super tank. So make quick work of this level here. Pro also pulling out the fire kill, very nice on his part.
Right now, finishing up that World 6, World 6 that we saw. The locks in World 7, like Diesel Pilot had mentioned, could very much be a factor here. And at this point, he just has to put the hammer to the grind wheel because he does not have anything left. He's going to have to play these the old-fashioned way. Unfortunately, Pro A is going to be a lot more liberal with his hammers. I mean, he has every right to be.
Yeah, so Teek's trying to figure out this world here. It's a free fort World 7, and he's hoping that this fort here, 8 fort, will break the lock right in front of him here. If not, he's going to have to go through 2 levels to get to that 3rd fort on the 7-2 island. Or 1 level, rather.
Absolutely, and Midi Guy's point is very valid. He's definitely going to be hoping for a bridge on the last island because that would mean it's going to be a pretty linear World 7, which is going to be in his favor. The other, obviously, would be a huge favor for him, would be World 8. Unfortunately, no bridge in sight, so if this isn't the correct one, then Pro's going to have another advantage where he's just going to be able to hammer and continue on and probably set up for a very big assist for him.
There we go. It does break the lock, so that's good on Teeks' end.
Absolutely. As we get down to the wire here, just any item discrepancy is going to go in the favor of Pro A. So if a hammer play comes out, you have to believe it's going to go in Pro A's favor. And in order for Teeks to move on, those favors just can't be there. He's got to have a chance.
Yeah, so far it's working out for him at least. But yeah, Pro's gonna get the good news as well. Yeah, he'll be able to just get this Piranha stage as well, and he's still right on Teeks' tail here.
Absolutely, and Teeks doing his absolute best to keep up. As we enter this last world of the randomizer before World 8, you know, it's not going to be long, and he's going to have to just do his best to keep his speedrunner skills in check and continue moving as quickly as he possibly can, because I think at this point that's the biggest thing he has going for him.
Yeah, but we do have World 2 as our final world for Bowser's Land, Dark Land. And right off the bat, we had the World 2 Fortress. What do you know?
Hey, might as well. And so far, it's looking very linear. I think we've already seen one of the worlds that has 1 fortress. Well, of course, there's 2 in the vanilla game, so we'll have 2 in the randomizer. And it could be World 2. I haven't gotten all my notes because I got way too enveloped in what we were doing. But I do know that World 6, I believe, only had 1. I think somebody had confirmed that there was 3 level 10 tiles, which 6 already has 1, so 3 means there's only 2 fortress, or 1 fortress, sorry. But you know, this fortress required 2, not a big deal. If this is a linear setup on the right side and there's not another fortress required, Teeks again not going to lose any ground, and that's going to be very hopeful for him.
Yeah, so Pro showing off of his own piece speed there. Unfortunately, he takes a hit, so he's going to have to be careful here to finish this fortress. Meanwhile, Teeks is in 4-1, not a difficult level, so gets through it pretty cleanly.
Looks like the enemy set is pretty vanilla for Pro A. That first one was a Boo, the second one was a drunk Hotfoot that actually got out of his way, so that helped this time. And he's going to be able to get through without any further issues, thankfully, I'm sure on his side.
And yeah, rightfully said, Midi Guy. This World 2 is looking pretty good. You see the pipe on the far side there. It's more than likely it will provide a shortcut here for Teeks. A hammer should not be required here to ideally traverse it. So that'd be good.
Absolutely, and if that is a free pipe, like you guys were saying, if that's a free pipe, that's going to be huge for Teeks. Or if there's nothing on the other side that's required, we've already seen World 1 Fortress. That can't be in play again, but definitely could be interesting to see what happens. We'll find out now.
Okay, so it's only 1 fort in World 2, so yeah, no hammer advantage here with that pipe. So yeah, the only other place hammers can be serving as advantage is World 8 at this point.
Absolutely. And of course, with all those extra hammers, we'll wait and see. If it's a lot of bridges, though, in front of Bowser's, if we get a 3 or 4 bridge, that's really going to play in TEEX's favor. Or if it's extremely linear for whatever reason, that's going to be a huge thing as well. We're just going to have to wait and see for sure, though.
Yeah, and I've seen seeds where, you know, if you go into World 8 with a bunch of hammers and you're just breaking the locks to try and find that ideal path, you can end up traversing more than what's needed in a way. So yeah, it could actually backfire on you potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really does go both ways. I mean, just the other day we had Haxer come out with a huge hammer play, which wound up completely blowing out the strategy. I mean, Haxter was in the L, decided to use a hammer that took him straight to Bowser and is free. And then on the other side, you have plays where you try like 3 different things and none of them work. 3 hammers, none of them work. You still have to go find a fortress, and now you have no indication on what's breaking what. So it really could go either way.
Yeah, so chat, you know what time it is. How many bridges to Bowser will we see this seed?
I think we're definitely going to have to hope for 3. So I'm going to say 3 in this regard. I'm hoping for more of a linear World 8 here for TEEX.
Yeah, so good sign at the start there. There's 3 normal levels on the first screen, and TEEX found the ham bridge, and there's a fort right off the bat. So it's going to play it, and it is 6F2 here.
Indeed. Elsa's Frozen Fortress of Solitude does come out to play, which is not a bad level, especially if you have a tail. Unfortunately for TEEX, he does not, so he'll have to go through the intended route, but is able to do so very skillfully, and we'll be moving on after this fight in just a moment.
Yeah, so Pro8 following his footsteps here, gonna play the same fortress, for checking that other pipe on the other side. So yeah, TEEX finds a dark maze, finds a lock. That could be advantageous to Pro8 there if he breaks that and finds the correct path.
Absolutely. Now it looks like TEEX is going to go back and find the Air Force, which is in the tank level. That makes sense. And he'll be playing through this. 6F2 still up on the side of Pro. We'll see if he takes the same route TEEX just did, but will likely break the hammer. We'll have to wait.
Yeah, and this tank stage is a fortress. It is the Air Force. So and Pro's actually gonna play this one as well. So yeah, it's gonna be right behind TEEX at this point, and yeah, it should be interesting.
I mean, I have got to give kudos to Pro on this one. He has done such a great job of keeping himself very, very close the entire race. I mean, he has really never had the lead except for maybe just a level or so, but has kept it so close in all the strategizing, all the routes. Even the items have gone in Pro-A's favor, and this is exactly what he's hoping for. He just wants to keep it close. We have
one bridge, and it's not built yet.
So you kind of have to wonder if Pro-A does find this here very quickly. It's still anybody's guess as to which one the correct fortress is. We know it's not going to be that tanks. They've already played the Air Force out of the tank icon. So one guess. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so TEEX playing the Air Force stage is either this one or the normal fortress, which is in the dark maze somewhere. But yeah, we shall see shortly. This Air Force is their key to Bowser's Castle here.
So 5F1 on the side of TEEX88. It looks like Pro8 has decided not to.
Oh, divergence. So yeah, this could get pretty interesting, folks.
And I think I just saw where that did break a lock on the dark screen. Unfortunately for TEEX, I believe this is now in Pro-A's favor. Hammer plays aside, that's not going to matter at this point. It looks like Pro-A is going to take this one no lock there, so that's definitely in favor of Pro-A. If he gets back first, doesn't get lost here, I think once again, this is Pro-A's to lose, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, but TEEX is right on his tail, having played 3F1 as well, so they both know the solution. It's going to be a race to the finish here, folks. Hold on tight.
Absolutely. We know both of the runners do have that hammer suit. They're okay. Looks like Pro is going to take the star as well. TEEX88, I fully expect him to come back with a star battle suit as well. Proa, not a stranger to the clips. Teeks, the king of clips. We'll see if the guys can pull it off this time.
Is Teeks trying to find the correct path here? He's going back and forth a little bit. There you go. You finally got it. So yeah, Pro's going to have advantage here a little bit. We'll see what happens though.
Absolutely. You almost wonder if maybe he'll go for a different clip here. He does not. There's a way to kind of go under it and you kind of take yourself to, I think, even Bowser's room from here, or at least one of the other rooms. So Teek's not really going to go after it. Looks like he's going to go the route.
Holy moly. That final laser into 2 fireballs. Man, Pro barely got through that, but man. And down goes Bowser, folks. There you go. Everyone get your GGs out for proa007. With 4 wins, he is going to be our 2021 SpeedGaming Live champion.
You can see on the screen, Teeks is definitely watching to see if that done comes out. And it looks like he did just see that. He does know he was just routed by Proa, who played an absolutely extraordinary game, an incredible matchup through and through. And ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you your SpeedGaming Live 2021 Grand Finals champion, proa007. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Whew. I just watched the last few minutes, and yeah, that was that was something. The coin flips were in my favor tonight. You know, that was all credit to Teeks. You know, he's a hell of a player, and this easily could have swung the other way.
Absolutely. Big GG's to you, man. Those were some really good races. It came down to like World 8 in the end, but yeah, y'all really put on a show. Props to you both.
Yeah, I was really nervous going into game 1 because I didn't want this to become 2-2 all over again, because I didn't want to give away any momentum I might have had. So I was really a wreck for game 1, for the first game of this. After that, I was still nervous, but I felt a little more, comfortable with my strats and my play, and it was Hammer City in game 2. But that did lead to some concerns, probably could have double hammered World 3 and gotten away with it.
Yeah, that play did come up for a moment, but by the time you play that Fortress, you had to spend 2 hammers to skip 2 levels. So they were like, yeah, it's probably not worth it at this point.
Exactly, that was kind of my logic in not doing it. But it's but when I got the 2 hammers in World 5, I probably could have done it anyways. And GG Teeks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pro, and congratulations on finishing the tournament.
Yeah, thank you. That was something, all right.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous going into this match as well. I noticed I played a little bit more conservatively than I have been in previous matches, given my recent history of just kind of choking away really dangerous P-speed strats in situations where I really shouldn't be going for them. I think that, prime example would be something like starting 4F1 as Small Mario, I think, in Race 2. But even beyond that, there are some moments where I was kind of questioning my routing decisions, and I was just kind of hesitating a little too long on the world map at certain points.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have just bouts of amnesia where I just forget the last thing I saw just 2 seconds ago. I saw in World 1 that there was a lock in the top left corner, but I couldn't remember if there was a fort behind it. So I decided not to go for the item, even though I had the tail. So I have no idea if I missed out on a hammer or not for the double play in World 3.
Yeah. So that item in 1-4 was a fire flower. So
okay, yeah, I don't feel too bad then, but I still ended up taking a slower route at the same time. So between that and probably playing an extra fort in World 8, I'm sure both of those things combined probably made up the 30-second discrepancy at the end. So considering it was that close, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah, you played Air Force in World 8. I played A Fort. That I don't know. I was I'll go with A Fort.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I just went with the first thing that I was able to see in the dark room, and you can't really see
Yeah,
the fort right away, so...
You know, it's like, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other,
It was definitely a really dangerous gamble, especially since, you're navigating that right-hand side of the dark room for the first time, so you don't know if there's a hand, like, right around the corner, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a calculated risk, but, as it always is in Rando, but, no, overall, my play, I thought, overall was solid throughout. I think game 2 in particular felt like I was really clicking and really just running with it. Game 1 took me a little while to kind of get going. I took a 100-coin fine right off the bat. It was like I got the P-wing and I saw 8-1. It's like I don't want to play 8-1 small. It's too early for that.
Oh, I went with it anyway. I just YOLO'd it small and then just... Thankfully, I took the mushroom right at the beginning, because I got a plant towards the end.
That 8-1 start, that was kind of finicky there, but y'all both got it done pretty well. Also, Teeks, you clouded in World 5 that first level there that you had to play, and it happened to be 7-5, and Pro played through it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, it was 7-5 with giant enemies, so that's probably the best case scenario you can get. And I had a tail, so and that worked out pretty well. So that I was kind of indiscriminate with my clouds. It's like it was more like just use them already. I'm still a little peeved that I left a hammer on the table.
Yeah, I kind of have a flowchart strategy for cloud usage in Randomizer. I'll hold on to them unless I come across some of the jank levels like 5-9, 7-5, the typical gambit. And
Yeah.
If the levels I played were pretty innocuous up to that point, then by the time I get to whatever the 6th world is, then just burn them wherever you can, because you don't know if you're going to get that opportunity in a world like World 1 or World 4 or World 8.
Right, yeah. I tend to use them on fairly linear maps, like World 1, World 2, 7 depending on the draw, 6 again depending on the draw, but I'm kind of... I probably should be a little more calculating, but with my clouds. But I kind of just go with the idea, like, well, the worst thing is not to use them at all.
Right, that's true.
But no, I was after my first match against Vix. I was Vix Rider. I was really out of sorts. I had no idea how this was going to go, and then I don't know, Rando. Fortune smiled upon me for a week, and that's the way it goes. But we shuffle the deck next week. We do it again. We just as easily have a new champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah. So GG's once again, Teeks. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, congratulations again, Pro. Definitely well deserved.
Thank you.
And yeah, no matter how this final turns out, I'm just really, really happy to have made it this far, so I have no regrets. I mean, I do have some regrettable mistakes that came up during the siege, but I mean, they were my own fault, and it's, just kind of the way that Rando goes, but by far and foremost, I definitely am happy with how I played, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and thanks Growlwolf and Macobra for doing the mics for this final match, and of course, to SpeedGaming for hosting us and giving us a home here as always for this great live event, and really working with us to get really good coverage in our matches, throughout this past week, and it's always great, and I look forward to hopefully doing this live and in person for real in 2022. That was a great experience in 19. I look forward to hopefully doing it again in 22.
For sure. Hopefully I'll be able to make it as well. That was some good times.
Yes,
it was. Lots of exciting stuff going on there.
Proa. How's it going?
Hey, Rick.
You were the runner-up in 2019. How good does it feel to have won this thing for all the marbles?
It feels very good. I thought about it today, and we've only had, counting the live and the main tournament events, we've only had 4 different winners. Macobra's won the live twice. He's won the main championship along with Duckfist, Mitch, and the Hacksaw. So, I'm essentially the 5th player to win a major tournament. So, in that respect, it's very hallowed and illustrious company to be in, and it's very gratifying and very humbling to be among those great players.
Well, SpeedGaming would like to absolutely congratulate you on winning the tournament, and also congratulate TEEX on finishing up in 2nd place in this tournament as well.
Thank you.
It's been a fantastic SMB 3R tournament, and, a lot of this has to go on the heels of Pro, who's been working his butt off behind the scenes to make sure that this thing actually finished off during the event, because I know going into the weekend that you were very, very concerned about it even getting to an end tonight.
Yeah, and kudos to everybody who, everybody stepped up here and really definitely made this happen. We had a lot of work to do in a day and a half, and kudos to all the runners for putting aside enough time to help bring this through and being flexible with their schedules. I know we all have lives, we all have jobs, we all have other obligations. I really appreciate everybody coming through in a pinch, and as always making this a fun and entertaining event.
But now, this is it. We've now concluded, I think, 26 of 27 of our tournaments. As far as the actual winner of the tournament is concerned, there's one more that's hanging in the balance, and we'll get to that at some point in time. But with that, SGLIVE 2021 is just about over with, friends. Hard to believe. But as Proa mentioned and Macobra has mentioned, here's hoping that we can do this in person in 2022. We do have every intentions of doing it live. We've got dates in mind at the end of October of 2022 back in Herndon, Virginia, where we were 2 years ago for SGLIVE 2019, and we hope that all of you can come on by and join us for the fun that's going to wind up happening over there in Virginia. Macobra can very much vouch for it, and Proa can as well. How much fun it was just to play the matches, get to see everyone in person, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast, and I know I've said on a few occasions, like, my only regret was I didn't stay long. I didn't go there long enough. Next time I'm going to be there for the whole tilt.
And I also do want to thank other people that have helped out here to get SMB3R on the air, like Growlwolf, who's here on commentary. I've seen your name up on the commentary sheet for many of these races that popped up on Restream, so thank you.
It has been my utmost pleasure to be a part of these. Want to definitely shout out Pro-A, TEEX88 for an outstanding grand finals, and you, Rick, you and your team. I don't know how you did it. I looked at the SpeedGaming schedule so many times to get an idea of when the different events were, and there were so many colors on that thing. I don't know how you guys did it, but kudos to an outstanding and very well put together SpeedGaming event.
I will be honest with you, there are times throughout this entire week, including this afternoon, where I sat here and went, how in the world am I going to get through all of this? How in the world are we going to squeeze this many matches onto the amount of channels that we have, in addition to everything else that's going on over the weekend? But, just like how Proa mentioned how we got through, have all the matches that needed to be played out for this weekend in order to get this thing done today, we found a way to get through it, and it was just be on behalf of everybody here. I know I definitely want to go ahead and shout out the rest of the SpeedGaming staff for all of the hard work that they did to get this event on the air. And I also want to shout out all of our setup helpers that we have with SpeedGaming that helped make sure that all these races were cropped properly, that the runners were doing what they needed to do, that the races were given all the TLC that it needed. Diesel Pilot, who's hanging out in the setup channel at this point in time, is definitely one of the workhorses of this thing. I know I've seen Maddie Walker doing a lot of stuff, as well as Trenton, and I know I've seen Drosy helping out in a few of these races as well, and there's a whole bunch of other setup helpers to the point that I know I'm going to be leaving behind a name or two. I know Raylan Tank here helped with a few of these races, and I'm starting, again, to get to that point where I know I'm going to leave somebody's name behind, so I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you very much to everyone who helped out. I know Fiesel's giving out his thanks over on SpeedGaming 1 at this very same time, where the Wind Waker Rando finals just wrapped up over there, and I think he'd probably have a better way of saying it, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped out here on the SpeedGaming staff, and I also want to thank all of the tournament admins who worked with me to make sure that we could get as much stuff aired as possible, and not only to get it aired as much as possible, but to give it the love that their communities definitely deserved throughout this entire event. So thank you to all the tournament admins, including Proa and all the other admins out there who might be listening.
Thanks very much.
So with that, I'd like to say thank you everyone who's been tuning in for SpeedGaming Live 2021. Again, SpeedGaming Live 2022 coming up late October of next year in Herndon, Virginia. We'll give you more details as soon as it comes around. But we're just getting ready to have some fun here on SpeedGaming. You know, we've got a lot more stuff coming up just around the corner. And with that, thank you all for watching. Now back to Macobra, Grey Wolf, and Pro-A to wrap things up for this match.
Very well said, Rick. Thank y'all so much for all the work that you do behind the scenes and otherwise. It's truly impressive, you know, to organize so many tournaments in such a small amount of time. Very, very commendable.
Absolutely. So, well, thanks all, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back. We'll definitely be back for SG Live 2022, and hopefully in between for another event. Details, I'm sure, will be forthcoming on that in the next couple of months. So stay tuned.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you want to support at all in any way, shape, and form, definitely go back to SpeedGaming and then type 2 through 7 all the way through, each incrementally 1. Go follow them. Go make sure that you're supporting them in any way possible. They put on so much different content, so many great things. I literally do not know how they were able to air so many tournaments in so many different ways, in so many different capacities, and make every single one valuable. But they did. They did an absolute gorgeous job on this. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes. Thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting this. On behalf of the SMB3 community, thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Chat, we wouldn't have been here without you guys either, so thank you as well for being here. On behalf of the entire team, proa007, TEEX88, the SMB3 Randomizer community, SpeedGaming Live 2021, we want to say thank you so much for being here. There's a lot of places you could have been tonight, but you were here with us, and we really appreciate it. Until next time, keep randomizing, keep racing. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.